So before I go ahead and start this review, I just want to go ahead and point this out to all you great viewers out there who are greatly taking the time out of your day to watching my videos. That this one is requested by a certain viewer, a certain fan, and a certain friend that are very highly fond of these in particular movies that I'm about to review with you guys today. And not only could they do this, but you guys can too. If you could go ahead and if you guys want for me to review a certain movie for you guys, just go ahead and comment in the section at the bottom, and we can have an awesome conversation regarding towards the movies that you love to talk about. And so, for example, today we're going to be reviewing on the Blade series, the Blade movies, which is Blade 1, Blade 2, and Blade Trinity. I am very overly fond of these movies. They're really great to watch. They're very entertaining, and I'm very excited to talk to you guys about what I think about each individual film. So let's go ahead and get started here, you guys, with the first movie I want to talk with you guys here today. So first on the list is going to be 1998's version of Blade. Okay, so this movie was first released back in 1998, and it's directed by Stephen Norrington, and we've got the star of the movie, Wesley Snipes, who does an amazing job of playing the character Blade. And we also have Chris Christopherson in this as well. He's like the father figure to Blade, who found him when he was first a kid and raised him into becoming this really night vampire fighting superhero. And you know what, and I want to point this out too, that people would think that 2002 Spider-Man was the one that unleashed the superhero genre that we have today, or the 2000 X-Men that we had back then also, or even when we had the Michael Keaton's Batman, which was great, and then, you know, everything started to downfall with certain other in particular superhero flicks like the Phantom or the Shadow or Spawn, so on and so forth. But then when Blade came out in 1998, oh my god, I mean, not even within the first 2-3 minutes when Blade first appears within the movie within the first 5 minutes of the movie, he's already kicking ass. He's already killing vampires, blood everywhere, you know, gore, everything. Just, you know, he's just so amazing. I mean, he's not well back then. He wasn't well known in the comics, but nowadays, you know, everything is all about superhero comic books, and Blade is one of those fascinating characters that Marvel has created, and including into this cinematically into these great movies. And also within the movie we have the villain that's played by Stephen Dorff, and we also have the female lead. I am very terrible at pronouncing these names here, but I'm gonna say her name is Nebuchadnezzar Wright. I think I said it correctly. And then we also have Donald Logue, and these characters are not highly memorable, but they're very entertaining to watch. It really does uplift the movie into becoming such a great film. And you know, there are some boring moments within the movie that really not really takes you out of the film, but it kind of gets you into you know, an overwhelming perspective of wondering, okay, I don't really get what's going on here. Can we just please see some kick-ass fighting of Blade and against vampires? You know, that's pretty much all that we want to see here. We care about the story. We do care about where these characters are taking everything towards. But I mean, when you see Wesley Snipes portray Blade and does what he does within the whole entire movie, you are just wanting more and more and more. And I think that this movie is the very definition of what a vampire movie should be. Nothing like Twilight or Underworld or, you know, anything in particular in that genre. Blade is the one that highly defines the meaning of a vampire flick, and I would highly have to agree and respect that 100% completely. And on Rotten Tomatoes, they actually rated this movie at a 54%, which was something that I was very highly surprised about when I first saw that. Because for me, before I saw that rating, I actually gave it an 81%. I enjoyed the movie very well from beginning to end. It's just a really great, entertaining movie that I really wouldn't mind having to watch over and over again. It's a really great movie. So 81% that I give this flick, and Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 54. If you guys think very highly differently as to what I thought or what other critics thought about this movie, you can always leave a comment in the section in the bottom, and we can have an awesome conversation regarding towards this flick or any movie in general. So that's my review for Blade. Let's go ahead and jump on to the next movie, you guys, and I think you guys know which one I'm going to be talking about next. So let's talk about the hit sequel Blade 2. Now, who says that sequels are never as good as the first movie? Well, I'd highly have to disagree with that, because Blade 2 is the movie that is highly different and highly better than the first movie. Now, don't get me wrong, the first movie is incredible, but this one took a different direction. This one is completely different compared to the first movie, and we have in the first movie, the director was Steven Norrington. This one is now Guillermo del Toro's movie. This is his version of Blade. And we have the returning of Wesley Snipes and Chris Christopherson. And we also have Ron Perlman in this. He always has to appear in a Guillermo del Toro flick. And we also have Lenore Varela. We have Norman Reedus from The Walking Dead in this. I think, oh man, this guy, he's always awesome in what he's in. And we also have Luke Goss. And this movie is, oh man, it is so much better. It is top of the ratings of, like a highly rated R flick. You got blood, you got guts, you got gothic perspectives, you got, great action, you got a lot of ass kicking. Blade still kicks ass in this movie. From the very first second you see him in this movie, that is all that he is doing, is kicking ass here and there and here and there and here and there. And I mean, you cannot get enough of this. He is so badass in this movie. I mean, in the beginning of the flick, well, in the first movie, Chris Christopherson's character Whistler killed himself, and I guess they wanted to bring him back because he's part of the Blade story. So they wanted to change things up a bit. So instead of him killing himself, instead he turned into a vampire, and he got kidnapped by other vampires, and now he's in this, he's just held captive and all that. And so that's what Blade is doing. He's going out, he's looking for him, he's trying to rescue him and stuff like that. So, and I think that that's a very interesting idea, but the thing is, it's a little bit confusing to me. I mean, I felt like, if you kill somebody off, that's the thing I really hate about when it comes to movies, is that if you're going to kill somebody off, kill them off, don't bring them back. Don't, and if you do, have a specific reason. Don't just do it just for the hell of it, So give it an in particular reason, give it some meaning to the story, so on and so forth. And so when it comes to talking about story-wise, Blade 2 is all about Blade and the vampire race having to come to a truce to team up together to go against this new and highly developed different type of vampire that's not even a vampire, that feeds off of both humans and vampire blood. And so Blade has to do what he has to put his pride aside and put the war aside to work with these vampires, this team of vampires, to find these individual creatures who happen to seem like vampire drug addicts, blood addicts, if you'd say. And before they go AWOL and becoming what Blade is, which is a daywalker, and starts preying over all vampires and all humans. And the world is just at a complete crisis. And so I think that was a very interesting take on how this whole thing shifted around. And I think Guillermo del Toro is a very great director. I think that he has a very unique taste into making film, and I see this movie to being a very good movie. It's very good, and even on Rotten Tomatoes, they gave this movie a very low rating of giving it a 57%, a little bit higher to the first Blade movie. But for me, since I liked it a little bit more better than the first movie, an 86 I gave it, an 86% to Blade 2. I was thinking about if I should give it a little bit of a more higher rating, but I felt more comfortable with giving it an 86. I think it's very suitable for it. I think that it's good enough, a good enough rating to say that this is a great movie to go off and watch. And I really wouldn't think any differently to this movie. There's not many bad things about it, but there's also a lot of great things about this movie. And I enjoy it so well, and sadly to say, after this movie is not going to be pretty. But like I said before, and I'll say it again, that if you guys think differently about Blade or Blade 2, you could go ahead and always leave a comment in the section in the bottom, and we can have an awesome conversation regarding towards this movie or any movie in general. And also, like I like to point out to you guys, is that if you guys have an in particular movie that you would like for me to talk about and review with you guys, you could go ahead and also let me know in the comment section, and I will go ahead and do whatever I can to watch those flicks over again and give you my opinions based off of that movie and give you my personal rating. So let's go ahead and jump off to the next movie that I really don't want to talk about, but I have to because it's part of the Blade movies. So let's go ahead and jump off to this one, guys. So last and surely least, Blade Trilogy. I meant Blade Trinity. And so this movie is directed by David S. Goyer, who happened to have been on this project since the very beginning of the first movie, and has given the opportunity to direct this one, which I believe is a completely just terrible idea to do. Don't ever do that. That is so bad. If you do not have your certain vision, your own vision into what you want to make, then that is just terribly wrong. And we've got, of course, the returning of the star of the flick, Wesley Snipes. We've got Chris Christopherson coming back here as well, who is in a very minor position of the movie. And then we get newcomers, Jessica Biel. We got Ryan Reynolds in this. We got Parker Posey, Dominic Purcell, James Remar. We've got John Michael Higgins, Patton Oswalt, Natasha Lyonne, and then also we always have to have some wrestler in these movies, which is Triple H himself, which I think that, oh god, just because The Rock did it doesn't mean that everybody can do it and they're going to be successful. I mean, just, and I gotta say, man, this movie is god-awfully terrible. I didn't even want to play the movie. It's so bad. It's so, oh god. You know, there's they always do this with third movies. You know, if you were to watch the original X-Men trilogy, you would see that X-Men: The Last Stand tried to be just like X2. Or if you go to watch Jurassic Park 3, it tried to be just like The Lost World Jurassic Park. Or if you go and watch RoboCop 3, RoboCop 3 is trying to be just like RoboCop 2. You know, it's just, they have that third movie curse. If you have the first movie is successful, you have the second movie that's even more successful, the third movie is going to try to be successful to be just like the second movie, like The Dark Knight Rises trying to be just like The Dark Knight, or Spider-Man 3 with Tobey Maguire trying to be just like Spider-Man 2. You know, it's that third movie curse. If you don't have a story to tell, then don't bother making the movie. You have to have an in particular reason as to why you should be doing this. And the story to this is something about, raising Dracula, who in this movie is called Drake, to be the villain of this movie, to go after and kill Blade. I don't really see why you even have to do that. I mean, in the beginning of the movie, you find a way to capture him, and you don't even kill him. He's right there, right in front of you. And of course, you got to do the typical bad guy routine, where you got to keep on yapping your mouth off, yapping your mouth off, yapping your mouth off, because you wanna enjoy the moment of killing your enemy, which is the good guy of the flick. And yet, it's already too late because he gets rescued, and now you lost your chance. And it pisses me off when they do that. I mean, you bad guys, you're supposed to be bad. You're supposed to be, being just, you're supposed to be being badass. You're not supposed to be being stupid. You're so stupid. They start off with the bad guys at the beginning of the movie, and all the way through is, I'm sorry, but this movie could have been PG-13 because there's not really any blood in this movie, and also, all there is just F-bomb here, F-bomb there, F-bomb here, F-bomb there, all over throughout the movie. And they only did that just so that they could make this movie a rated R flick to compare with the other Blade movies. I'm sorry, but you didn't really have to say an F word here or an F word there or a D word here or a D word there. I mean, that's all I keep on hearing is all these curse words like almost every single second throughout the movie, and I'm like, do you really need to talk like that? I don't really think. Yeah, they didn't even do that in the other two movies. Of course, yes, they cursed, but not every single 5 seconds of the movie. It's just, this movie was terribly bad, and I had to rewatch this in order for me to do this review, and when I was watching it, all I can think of is this movie is just bad. I hate that this series of Blade movies had to end with this stupid movie. It is so bad. I don't know what the hell they were thinking. Yeah, I know. After they did some little Blade series that was on Spike TV a couple of years ago, I didn't even bother watching that. If Wesley Snipes was going to be in it, and you got some guy who was impersonating him, there really isn't any point to even watching it. I really don't care. I don't even watch the Netflix series that's with Marvel Studios, like Jessica Jones and maybe Daredevil and Luke Cage and Iron Fist and all that stuff, all those mumbo jumbo things. But when it comes to Blade, and the only time it's ever successful is the first movie and the second movie, and that's that. The rest of it, garbage. It is so terrible. And if I have to give any good remarks towards this movie, yes, Ryan Reynolds. Love Ryan Reynolds. But only because he's Ryan Reynolds. He has the, he's Deadpool right now. And the way that he behaves in this movie is just like Deadpool. A sarcastic asshole, and that's who he is in this movie. And he's just a comedic performance in this flick, and I guess that's just one of the pluses, and that's all I could say about it. Jessica Biel, yeah, she's hot and all that, but really, there's really no point to her character in this at all. And there's a sequence within this movie called Drake's Parting Gift, and it's by the composer of Raymond Djawadi. And I think that it's a very sad sequence, and that doesn't make the movie any better. It's just a sad sequence that they portray within the movie, and I think that it's a very good moment, and that's about it. All the characters, everybody in this, it's just terrible. You don't even care about them. They're just bad. I just don't even care whether they live or die, or if we don't even see them ever again on the dang movie. So. On Rotten Tomatoes, they gave it a very low rating, which I'm okay with, a 25%. For me, I was thinking about giving it a 0, but since I had some minor positives to the flick, I gave it a 6%. It is bad. So bad. But if you guys are a fan of Blade, I mean, watch the first and the second flick. The third one, if you guys want to, fine, whatever. But that's my ratings to the whole Blade trilogy. What do you guys think? Like I said again, comment in the section in the bottom. We can have an awesome conversation regarding towards these movies or any movie in general, because I love to talk about movies, but more importantly, I love to talk about them with you. And if you guys have an in particular movie that you'd like for me to review, go ahead, let me know. Leave a comment in the section, and I will go ahead and watch that flick, and I'll give you my opinion and my ratings towards it, because I'm Awesome Joe, and thank you very much for taking in the time of watching my videos. You guys are a huge inspiration to me and to what I do. It's a great personal hobby of mine because, again, I love to talk about movies, but more importantly, I love to talk about them with you. So, as always, stay awesome. Thanks, guys. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.